What's up, guys? I just want to do a quick video about my thoughts on the She-Hulk TV series. And unfortunately, I didn't really like this show. The show had the potential to be a really good, entertaining show, but unfortunately, it just fell flat. Now, it started off good. I loved episode one. And the reason why I did like episode one a lot was because in episode one, you got Jen's character, who is basically just a woman that, she's narcissistic, kind of selfish. All she cares about is her job, being a lawyer. But what made the show or episode one good was the inclusion of Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo's character, the Hulk. And I liked the interaction between Bruce and Jen in episode one, because when she becomes She-Hulk, he takes it upon himself to be her mentor, to teach her what it's like to be a Hulk, the responsibility of having those type of powers. And I thought the fight scene that they had with each other was fun to watch. But what made me angry was that basically Jen didn't listen to him at all. She took none of his advice. It just went in one ear and out the other. And then the line that I think that a lot of people noticed that they didn't like what she said was how she controls her anger infinitely better than him. And as soon as she said that, I knew that was a bunch of crap, because I knew that if she got put in the right situation, that she can lose her temper just as easily as he did, as we saw in episode 8, when she got publicly shamed in front of all those people. And for a few moments, she became like a savage She-Hulk. Now, the reason why I didn't like this show was, like I said, there was a lot of potential for this show to be good. But unfortunately, the only episodes I liked was episode 1 and episode 8, which had the Daredevil cameo. Those were the only 2 episodes I actually liked. All the rest of the episodes were basically just boring. Nothing happened. The show misused pretty much all the character cameos except for Daredevil. That was the only good one. I was disappointed that they didn't use Bruce Banner much. He was only in episode 1. You see him briefly in one of the other episodes where he basically is just talking with Jen over the phone, but he was on his way to Planet Sakaar. And then you see him again in the finale, but the way he just shows up out of nowhere, and then he shows that he has a son. I was like, well, that came out of nowhere. So basically they kind of screwed him over, because he was barely in the show at all. Another character that they misused was Tim Roth's character, Blonsky. Now, when he first showed up, I was interested because I liked how he was telling his side of the story about when he first took that super soldier serum and he thought he was going to be the next Captain America. But unfortunately, the show didn't use him well. They just regulated Tim Roth's character to being like some sort of a public speaker, like a counselor or something. And I was kind of disappointed that that's all they had him doing. And I think one of the main things that bothers me about this show is Jen's character. Her character didn't really even have a complete character arc. See, normally when you see a character that actually has a complete arc. You get to know that character, you know um, who they are. You know, they make mistakes and they learn from those mistakes, and it makes them a better person. Like, for example, look at Iron Man. You see, he's a started off being narcissistic, just cared about himself, but you can tell he had a good heart and that he uh, actually learned from a lot of his mistakes. And he went from being narcissistic to being a person that became selfless. And as you saw in Endgame, he sacrificed his life for the greater good. See, that's a character arc. Now, with all due fairness, with Iron Man, he had several movies to show this character arc. And with Jen, you know, you only have 9 episodes of the She-Hulk series. But the thing with Jen, if you look at her character, she's narcissistic. Just she just cares about her job. That's the only thing she cares about. That's how she was at the beginning of the show. At the end of the show, she's still narcissistic and just cares about her job. The only difference between the Jen from the beginning of the show and at the end of the show is that at the beginning, when she became She-Hulk for the first time, she pretty much rejected She-Hulk. She didn't want nothing to do with being a Hulk. You know, she just wanted to be Jen. She just wanted to focus on her job. By the end of the TV show, she actually kind of likes being She-Hulk. But like I said, that's not a complete character arc. I mean, she never learned from her mistakes. She's still narcissistic, still cares about her job. She didn't learn anything from her cousin Bruce. And I was kind of disappointed because I thought that was going to be one of the main focuses of this show. Was I thought that she was going to learn from her mistakes of being a Hulk and how to use that power responsibly. But in the finale, I thought that's what was going to happen. I mean, because they showed the aftermath of her mistake. You know, she got put in that jail. She had to quit her job. She ended up having to move out of her apartment to stay with her parents. And I'm thinking, okay, this is where she's going to be able to learn from her mistakes and think about what Bruce was trying to tell her. But that didn't happen at all. The way this finale happened was so weird, and it just went off. It did a complete 180 compared to what I thought was going to happen. And I guess you could say they were trying to be creative with the finale, but it still kind of fell flat for me. And overall, here's some things that they could have done to make this show better. They should have included more of Mark Ruffalo's character, you know, or at least show us what he was doing on Planet Sakaar. They didn't do that. They could have gave us more of Tim Roth's character and him being the Abomination instead of having him being more. I mean, they kind of almost made him comic relief in a way, which was not what I was expecting. They could have gave us better writing overall, because you could tell that whoever was writing for this show didn't do a very good job, especially when it comes to the court case aspect of the show. The court cases that they did show, which is very simplistic, not very entertaining to watch. And I wish they would have tried harder on the finale to, show character growth for Jen, because basically there is no character growth for her. And to tell you the truth, I really wouldn't care if they made a second um, season for this show, because the first season just fell flat for me. Unless they can get some better writers for this show, then I'm not really going to care about if they do a second season or not. And like I said, this show had the potential to be great. But unfortunately, with all the mistakes that they made in this show, misusing characters, and then there were other characters that basically were given nothing to do. Titania, I thought she was going to be like a rival for She-Hulk, but even her character was misused. And, well, I thought She-Hulk was, I mean, it started off interesting and then it just fell flat. Well, hopefully the next Marvel show will be much better than this. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that.